I feel like the majority of Yinzers are now saying, even the doubters, even the ones that didn't want Rodgers to be here, they're saying, you know what? This Rodgers guy ain't half bad now. I feel like once he threw on the black and gold, he was out there throwing some passes today, spoke to the media, said all the right things. I think it went from the consensus being 50-50 on Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh to now it's like I think about 90-95% are good with Rodgers being here. Because Rodgers is saying and doing all the right things. I got some quotes from today. I got some tweets. I don't think there's one Yinzer, one Steeler fan out there that can go away from Rodgers' interaction with the media today and say, oh, man, he messed up there. Or, oh, man, he's making it about himself. Oh, here comes the drama. None of that at all. At all. Talked about why the Steelers were the right fit for him. So I think it starts with Mike Tomlin. Been a fan of his for a long time. There's a few iconic franchises in the NFL. Played for one of them for 18 years. Talking about the Packers. This is another one of those. There's something special about this area. So many great quarterbacks are from here, from Pittsburgh. I feel like Pittsburgh has been a part of my career from the beginning. Rodgers then named all the coaches he played for who have been from the Pittsburgh area, including Mike McCarthy, his former head coach with the Packers. Yeah, he listed off, if you actually listen to it, he listed off probably about 7, 8, 9 names. It wasn't just Mike McCarthy, a bunch of assistant coaches, threw in Kevin Green, a lot of names. Alex Van Pelt, who was, I don't know if he's from Pittsburgh. I know who he went to Pitt. He was a quarterback for Pitt back in the 90s. But there you go. Said this area, the Steelers, the franchise is iconic. It's one of those areas that are a great breeding ground for greatness in football. Gotta love that. Can't hate on that, right? Even before he went out on the practice field and even before he did his first media press conference for the Steelers, addressed the team, stood up in front of everyone, according to Zach Frazier, said he's all in from here. And we know about Rodgers' story this offseason, how he had some personal things going on behind the scenes with whether it was his friends or family, and didn't feel like he could commit to whatever team that he signed to all the way for the offseason and the little programs, the OTAs, and all that stuff. So he didn't want to do his teammates or the organization a disservice by signing and then not being able to show up for team activities. But now that he is officially signed, he's on a team, he's in the black and gold, he's saying he's all in. Like, that's why he waited. That was his explanation. We all knew that. I mean, it makes sense, man. Like, you got to do what's best for you. You're a free agent. This is your first time being a free agent. Your career in the NFL is absolutely stamped. First ballot Hall of Famer. You have the luxury, you have the leisure to take your time on this. And if there's stuff that you're dealing on the personal end that you feel like is more important than football right now, go ahead. And if there's a team like the Steelers, a coach like Tomlin that's willing to wait for you, and that's what made the Steelers a good fit for Rodgers, then you could do it that way. You could operate with patience if you got a team like the Steelers that's willing to also be patient in your response and your answer and whether or not you want to play. But a few days ago, he did officially sign, and he's here. First practice, mandatory minicamp. And things are looking up for the Steelers. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Rodgers is going to be motivated. Don't be surprised if he returns to a sort of an MVP type of form. Don't be surprised if this offense is the best we've seen since the Big Ben days. We still got to see what this defense is doing, but we retooled this offseason. We definitely retooled. I'm liking where we're at. A couple more things from Rodgers that I was liking here. And we'll get to the very last thing, and it has nothing to do with today. It has everything to do with the contract that he signed and what the incentives are. But in terms of today, nope, this is from the last show. Didn't want this. Woe Howard even talked about new Steelers fan favorite Woe Howard in a positive way. Will's a good kid. Thought he looked good today. I'm going to be with him every single day and every single meeting. I'm going to help him out as much as I can. And the standard this Twitter account says in all exclamation mark, or a couple exclamation marks in all caps, leadership. And people had questions. Some people had questions about Aaron Rodgers. I didn't, and how he would handle a young quarterback like Will Howard. Would he be a mentor? Would he be doing his own thing and not really be trying to help a young guy in the room? Almost like what Brett Favre did with Aaron Rodgers, and many quarterbacks have done in the past. It's like, they're not wrong. Like, if you want to say, this is not my job to be a mentor, my job's to focus on being the best starting quarterback I can for this team. Like, I'm not focused. You're not wrong in doing so. Like, you would like in a perfect world where you're able to do both. You're able to focus on being a starter, focus on being the best quarterback you can for the team in the here and now, but also pay it forward to the next generation. And one of the reasons I wasn't worried about that at all is when Rodgers was in Green Bay and the Packers drafted a guy in the first round in Jordan Love to replace him, he was a great mentor for him. You didn't hear one bad thing out of anyone in Green Bay on the Rodgers-Love dynamic, or you didn't even hear anything bad coming out of Jordan Love. All he has said about Aaron Rodgers is positive things, and being there for him and being a great mentor, being a leader for that team. So, like, why wouldn't that be the case with the Steelers on a one-year deal, and you're like 3 or 4 years older than what you were in Green Bay? Like, you got this year, maybe 2 years max left. So, like, if he was still playing kind of at the peak of his powers in Green Bay and they drafted a guy in the first round to replace him, like, why wouldn't he be cool with helping out a 6th-round pick on a very new team for him on a one-year deal at age 41? So, yeah, this wasn't a concern for me, but another good thing that he said here. Another positive. Here's the thing I really like, though, from what Rodgers is doing, like his first however many days as a Pittsburgh Steeler. The thing I'm the biggest fan of is the contract that he signed and the incentives that are in place, because actions speak louder than words, right? And him actually hitting these incentives, those actions are even going to speak more, but there's only so much you could do at this point in the offseason, right? There's only so many actions that you could put into place. So part of that for Rodgers is the contract and what the verbiage is and what the incentives actually are. And this is all team-based, man. This is all playoff-based outside of the MVP. But that, you could see at the bottom here, $1.5 million for winning the AP MVP award. That's Rodgers. He likes his MVPs. He's got 4 of them. I'm sure he's eyeing up another one. Wouldn't mind getting a 5th one. But even the MVP, in a way, is a team-based thing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's just go through the incentives. $500,000 if the Steelers make the playoffs. $600,000 for a wild card round win with 50% playing time in the game or a first-round bye. $750,000 for a divisional round win with 50% play time in the game. $1 million for an AFC title game win with 50% play time in the game. $1.5 million for a Super Bowl win and 50% playing time in the game. And then we just went over the $1.5 million for winning the AP MVP. You know what this tells me is, like, Rodgers is self-aware. He knows what's up. He knows why he's here. And he knows what sends the right message. He knows that the narratives are out there about him sometimes being me first, causing drama, being prickly, being, a little bit aloof, a little bit on his own terms and everything. None of these incentives say that at all, though. These incentives say, I'm here for the Steelers. I'm here to win playoff games. I know what needs to be done, not only for me, but also for this city and for this organization. They don't care about regular season stats. They don't care about, I threw for 30 touchdowns. They don't care that I threw for 40 touchdowns, or I had this many yards, or I had this much playing time in the regular season, all that stuff. Now, I think that is a part of it. He's got to play like 70% of the regular season games or something like that. I think that's just common sense. Like, if you're not out there for the majority of the time, like, can you really say, like, you were the main quarterback of the Steelers for 2025? Like, that also does got to be a part of that. I get that. But yeah, nothing individually based here outside of winning the AP MVP award. And you can even argue with the AP MVP award that that's a very team-based thing, because it's one thing to throw for big time stats, throw for 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. But if your team ain't winning, you're not winning the MVP. Like, you're not even in the conversation. The MVP is weirdly, it's a very team-based award. Look at all the guys that win it. Their teams are like the number 1 or number 2 seed in the regular season. They won a division. They've put themselves and their team in a very good spot heading in toward the playoffs. It's very team-based. Like, you're not in the MVP discussion if your team ain't in the competition for like a 1 seed or a 2 seed. If you don't have like 12 wins, 13 wins. Look at all the MVPs over the last however many years. It's very heavily quarterback based, and you got to be doing some things as a team as well. Joe Burrow last year, I mean, he threw for all those yards. You could argue, I was going to say you could argue that he was the best quarterback last season. Maybe you could make that argument. It's just the Bengals defense let him down, all that type of stuff. I'd still probably say Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, a little bit better. But part of that is the winning. Like, you can't deny it. Fair or unfair, it is the quarterback's most important job. It's not the only thing it's not the only way to, I kind of like dissect how good a quarterback is and all that type of stuff. It's not the only thing, but it's the most important thing. Winning ain't everything. Winning is the only thing. So the AP MVP award is going to be also largely based off the Steelers' win-loss record, not just what Aaron Rodgers does. So I like this. I like these incentives. Rodgers knows what's up. It's playoffs, man. Like, this is what Pittsburgh's about. This is what the Steelers are about, winning in the playoffs. And we have fallen short of that mark over the last 7-8 years. So self-aware. There's no passing yard numbers. There's no touchdown numbers. None of that stuff. None of the individual stuff. Strictly, Steelers make playoffs. Steelers win wild cards, win divisional round, win AFC title, win Super Bowl. And then, yeah, you throw the MVP in there. Rodgers likes his MVPs. But again, you can make the case. That's a very team-based award right there. Very team-based. And if he wins the MVP, yeah, give him $1.5 million. I mean, that means the dude had a hell of a season. So with Rodgers, yeah, he's doing and saying all the right things right now. Shout out to him. Shout out for the Steelers for making this move again. I just think it's flat out right. Good business. Good business. I think it was the best move that we can make given all the offseason options and how the offseason played out for us at the quarterback position.